A lot of people ask if it's okay to drink or eat dairy when they're sick. There's this thing running around on the internet that milk and dairy products can increase mucus production. And the truth of the matter is, there's not a lot of overwhelming science that says that milk is going to increase your mucus, but there are many of you out there that feel like it does. And what I would say is if you feel like milk increases mucus or makes your mucus thicker or uncomfortable, then definitely stay away from milk. Dairy as well, if you find that with other dairy products, okay? So, yeah, the evidence is not very strong that it does this. Really take your own personal preference. Actually, it's funny when I get sick, like with an upper respiratory infection, I often crave ice cream and, milky type things, interestingly enough. Okay, let's talk about other things. This is a can of soup. This actually happens to be some broth, beef broth. What I would say is, first of all, broth soups can be really great in terms of making sure that you're staying hydrated and things like that. Canned soups, as we know, can be very salty. So, you know what, if you don't want all the salt, just go ahead and make your own. But let's also talk about the chicken noodle soup, which I don't have a can of that here. I didn't have that in my refrigerator. But what's the deal with chicken noodle soup? Should you be eating chicken noodle soup? I have to tell you, I like chicken noodle soup for when we're sick, and I like it for a few reasons, okay? Number one, there's liquid, so it's going to give you some hydration, which we need, especially when we're sick. The other thing is there's a lot of healthy elements in chicken noodle soup, right? There's protein, there are carbs, there are veggies, there's a little bit of fat. These things are going to be really helpful for you in terms of getting nutrients. And while you're sick, in particular, we want to make sure that you're getting your nutrients. Remember that canned soups, I think, can be great, but they can have more salt in them than you want. You can get a low sodium version, or you can make your own, or have someone else make you some soup. But I think soup can be really great. I would also say I do believe there's also a really positive psychological aspect to chicken noodle soup. It reminds me of my childhood and being home. My mother used to make this homemade chicken noodle soup that I can still taste. She used to actually use like cream of mushroom soup in it and a few other things. And she has this whole concoction, the best soup to me in the world. And so chicken noodle soup really brings me back to that. And I think is really comforting. Guys, we're talking about what you should eat when you are and drink when you're sick. I'm Dr. Jen Caudle. It's good to see you. Okay, let's go on. We were talking about sort of upper respiratory infections for the most part. Obviously, you want to make sure that I've said hydration a million times already. Want you to be hydrated no matter what kind of sick you have and what kind of sick you are. Water is one of your best friends here. Also, if you got a cough, honey can be really great so long as you're over 12 months of age. Okay, remember, we do not give honey to children under 12 months of age because of the risk of botulism. Okay, so you got to be older than that and follow your doctor's advice if you are a child, like if you're a parent of a child. But we're talking about adults. Honey can actually be helpful with a cough. Okay, I have a couple of videos on other treatments and regimens for cough, so I'll make sure I link them here. But honey can be helpful if you're drinking tea and things like that already. I think it can be helpful. Other things to drink when you are sick with an upper respiratory infection. I do like the idea of hot tea. Okay. What do I like about it? Well, I do think, first of all, the liquids is giving you some hydration. But the other thing is that hydration and liquids and fluids can help thin mucus. Also, the heat from the steam from the tea, I think can be very helpful for nasal passages and just trying to give you some comfort. So that can be really helpful as well. Let's talk about hot toddies. Okay, hot toddies typically is a drink that often contains alcohol in it. What I would say about alcohol, there is no hard and fast rule about not drinking alcohol when you're sick, but the thing about it is, number one, you're probably not going to want to drink alcohol because you're sick. Number two, alcohol can interfere with sometimes medications we take when we are sick. Number three, alcohol may not make you feel any better. You might just feel worse, okay? The idea here is to help you feel better. So my thing is, it's probably best to avoid alcohol, okay? But we do know hot toddies are drinks, for example, that are used sometimes for helping people. You need to make and use your best judgment when it comes to that. Just remember the potential risks with alcohol and that it actually may end up making you feel not better. So, okay, moving on. We talked about the milk thing. Oh, let's talk about like if you have like a gastrointestinal illness, like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, that type of stuff. I have a video on that. I'll make sure I link here too. Food specifically in the case of diarrhea. But I did want to mention one thing I loved, and it is something called the Brat diet. This is a loaf of bread. The reason why is because BRAT diet, BRAT, stands for bananas, rice, applesauce, toast. I don't have any toast, but I've got bread. Toast, okay? But starting with the B, bananas. R for rice. I had a little baggie of rice. Applesauce and toast. You're probably saying why those things. I'm not exactly sure where those particular items came from, like the history of them, but they are a good combination of items in terms of helping keep your stomach settled. They're bland foods. They're kind of neutral foods. Okay. When you have a gastrointestinal illness, like a stomach bug or whatever, what have you want to avoid the spicy foods, the overly fattening foods, just a lot of heavy foods. You want to keep it bland. You want to keep it mild to keep your stomach in check. Mentioned the water. You're going to definitely want to keep hydrated, especially if you're vomiting or having diarrhea. Also, a lot of people like ginger ale. Okay, a lot of people think that helps settle their stomach, and you can use that certainly if you feel like that helps too. Some people use ginger if their stomach is unsettled. That may help as well. Guys, there's a number of things that you can eat and drink when you are sick. So guys, I hope this is helpful. These are just a few suggestions when you are feeling under the weather of what you can and should eat and drink. Of course, follow your doctor's advice and listen to your own body. Do what is best for you. Guys, let me know in the comments, what do you do when you are not feeling well? What do you eat or drink? Share this video with other people, especially if they're maybe a little under the weather. I hope they get better, by the way. On Facebook, please like and follow my page. For those of you who send stars, thank you so much. On YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell for updates. I do have subscription groups on Facebook and YouTube. Please consider subscribing to those. I'm on Instagram and I have a WhatsApp channel and TikTok at Dr. Jen Caudle. I hope you follow me there. And guys, go to my website, drjencaudle.com. I have a free health newsletter. You can join that and get my newsletter every week. Hope this is helpful. Let me know. All right, guys, take care.